to the Homeless in America podcast, hosted by Metro Relief. We're diving into the deep end of homelessness and exploring ways you can help your community. Get ready for relevant stories from the streets with special guests and the leadership of Metro Relief.
Welcome, everybody, to Homeless in America podcast. Thank you guys for joining us. Again, I am joined by Charlie, my co-host, and of course, Wendy,
good to be
Sheriff.
Here. Yep, good to be here.
Thank you guys for joining us today. We are going to talk about our good friend Wendy, who is also a co-host, but we really want to interview her today to talk a little bit about Garland, Texas. Does anybody know anything about Garland? Charlie, do you know anything about Garland?
That the mascot for the high school is an owl.
Is that true?
That's Garland High School.
Yeah.
One of the 7 high schools, yeah.
You
Garland
have
High School.
7 high schools?
Yeah.
You've got
one of 7.
Yeah.
Well, because remember, we're Garland.
I always
Saxey
drive by
and
the
Rowlett.
owls, and my son.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How many people live in Garland?
I think we're at about 300,000, a little bit over 300,000
okay.
now.
Wow.
It's 53 square miles.
53 square miles, yeah.
Good job.
We used to be considered a bedroom community because
Okay.
we're encompassed with Dallas, Rowlett, Plano, Richardson. We're pretty much in the middle. So
Right. And the city really, we'll talk about you in a second, but the city really kind of was formulated in the 80s, kind of like with over around Texas Instruments. It seemed like a big population growth.
Yes, tremendous growth because of TI. Yeah,
Okay.
correct.
And Texas Instruments, that's the headquarters is in Garland?
I think they moved.
No,
Maybe they
the
did. I don't
headquarters at 75 and 635.
Yeah.
It's that big plant.
Yeah, yeah.
TI built Richardson, a little bit of, Garland and
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All the
We had
employees.
we had a plant stuff, but the main one is in Dallas.
Yeah, I live in Plano, and the neighborhood's called Dallas North Estates, and my neighbor's been living there forever,
Mm-hmm.
and he worked at TI.
Yeah,
He said, saw the neighborhood built. And
Yeah.
He said it was built for TI.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Garland the same.
yeah.
Yeah.
Garland the same.
Also, Garland is home to the famous TV show King of the Hill.
Boom, boom.
Do you know anything about that show, Wendy?
Never seen it. Never seen it.
Have you ever seen it?
No
I
idea.
know of it because you see the commercials, but it's a cartoon, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It has one of the best characters, I believe, in TV.
Is it the fat guy with the belly?
Yeah, and he's always drinking beer, and it's like they're
There you go.
drinking beer in Garland and barbecuing.
Yeah.
And the best character in all of TV is Boomhauer or whatever his name is. The dude doesn't make any English sounds that actually make sense. Do you know what I'm talking about? He sounds something like this.
Is he on King
How
of
does
the
that
Hill?
Is that what he sounds like?
There you go, Doug.
And then he sounds like a little like that's what he sounds like.
Okay.
And then he'll make one word that is audible, and it usually has something to do with what they were saying. But it's kind of
Funny.
dumb. Everybody's drinking beer, and you know what I'm saying. It's kind
Yeah.
of cool. Little
Sweet.
rednecky King of the Hill.
I'm going to have to check it out, just see what it's about.
I'm sure people that are listening, some of you guys know like every
And
episode.
some of them are
I'm
probably
sure they do.
questioning.
Like, what the heck is King of the Hill, right?
King of the Hill got to do with
Yeah, homelessness.
in
A
Garland.
homeless podcast. Well, it
Well,
has
because it's from
everything.
Garland. See,
Because
we're
it's from
swinging
Garland.
it
We have
all
to wrap it back around.
I think the name of the city, someone knows it already and they're saying it, is Harlan or something like that. After Garland, but it's not
okay.
Garland.
Okay.
But that's the name of the fake city, which is in King of the Hill.
King of the
Anyway,
Hill.
something like that. You guys can figure it out
Yeah.
later. Anything else that is crazy?
No,
that-
no, you've helped. You've completely lost us. It's okay.
Is there anything else in Garland that you would be like, you know what? I think people need to know this. Is there anyone famous that you know of from
Me?
Garland? Yeah, okay, you are.
I'm doing the podcast
You're doing a podcast, so you become famous, and you're from Garland.
from Garland.
That makes sense. Wendy, tell us about yourself. What do you do for work in Garland, and why are you considered an expert in Garland?
Oh, I don't know about expert. I am one of 2, really 3. One of the homeless liaisons in Garland. Been a police officer for 28 years now. Retired at the age, at 26, after 26, and worked as a marshal for a year, and then came back as a homeless liaison. Love it. Wouldn't have it any
that
other
is
way.
great.
Yeah. You know, you growing up, you don't say, ooh, when I turn 57, I'm going to be a homeless liaison, you know? So didn't see it coming. Had no idea. I think I was telling someone earlier on, you know, by nature, I'm a geek, you know? If I had enough pens, I'd put it in my pocket right now. You know, got my little funny glasses on. Never had any contact with police until I actually joined the police department.
Okay.
And even then, when I did 28 years ago, I guess made history because I was the first black female they ever had. And
Wow.
yeah.
You are famous.
No, I'm
That
not
is
famous.
cool.
No, that was a joke. I was just kidding on that part. But yeah, love it. The homeless liaison.
Let
literally-
me ask you a question.
Uh-huh.
So you worked for 26 years, right?
Yes,
You retire.
I did.
And you still work, which is normal.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But then you came back
Yeah.
for homelessness.
Mhm.
What drew you to the homelessness part while you were a police officer and through all? I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you don't have a background. You were born in London, right?
Yeah. Born and bred in London, England. Came to America in 1983.
You were
joined the
basically
army.
a good kid.
I just thought that was a Queen's accent.
No,
like,
no, I
grew
gave
up
it to her. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there
the
you go.
Queen.
But no, born and bred North London, came to America. America saved my family's life. I'm the youngest of 12. You know, my mum came to America to survive.
Okay.
Right? From abusive marriage. My mum had been here about 7-8 years, and I finished school and came to America. And it's weird.
How old were you when you came to America?
18.
Did your mom come first?
Yes, yeah, she
Oh,
came.
yeah, I'll be darned.
She left when I was 11.
Oh, geez. And then so she moved to Bedford.
She moved to it was in Brooklyn.
New
She
York?
moved to Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Awesome.
And so I came when I was 18, and coming from a little town called London to New York.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Number one, I was looking for horses and the little skinny tie thing. You know, the only thing we knew growing up about America was the sitcom Dallas.
Oh,
No,
that's
it's
so weird.
My right-handed guard. And then I come to New York and I was like, what the dickens?
Yeah.
In England, we used to say, watch ya, watch ya. Well, you know, people thought I was crazy, I guess. And, you know, some language was out of this world.
Yeah.
And I literally saw a commercial saying, be all you can be.
Be all that you can be.
Yeah. My
Army.
The army, yeah. My mom, you know, having 12 kids, you know, her thing was, poor is a state of mind. We just don't have anything.
Right.
So, you know, my mom worked 3 jobs and put us kids in the market on the weekends. We would literally like find stuff, you know, polish it up. She had a sewing machine, a Singer sewing machine. We would make stuff and
Singer.
yeah, go
Home
to
of the Singer sewing machine is Elizabeth, New Jersey. They used to have a
Really?
factory there. Yeah.
You used to
Across
live
the-
there, didn't you?
Yep.
Elizabeth? Yeah.
So, you know, we were used to making ends meet.
Mhm.
And I came to America and I was just floored about, number one, how big it was, how many people there were.
Mhm.
And I my mum used to always tell us, humble yourself. Don't forget where you come from.
Mm.
And when I came to America, I realized that I saw my mum for the first time, because when she left, I was 11. When next time I saw her, you know, I was 18. And I realized that America actually saved my mum's life,
Wow.
you know? So I thought, what better thing to do but to say thank you?
Oh, that
And
is
so when
awesome.
I saw that
Thank
commercial,
you for your service.
oh no, that's the least I can do. When I saw that commercial, I joined the army. Loved it. Wouldn't have changed a thing.
Oh, that's great.
And then when I got out,
Did you 4 years?
9? Done
9?
Yeah. Got out just after Desert Storm.
I remember that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah,
Thank
no,
you.
no,
That's awesome.
And I got out, and I guess I still had that service in me, and joined the police department. Came to Garland and joined the police department. Literally threw something on the map, and it hit Garland. I was like, "What the dickens?" You know, the Rand McNally. I'm like, what is this Garland?
Well,
When you came to
you
Garland.
could have held it over Hawaii.
I could have.
Ah,
I
you
could
could have-
have. I
boom.
could have. Yeah. That's
Garland,
wherever I
isn't
threw
that-
that thing. Ended up coming to Garland. So, and loved it. So the
You,
homeless.
hold on. You came to Garland from New York?
No, well, I got out in Dallas. I
Georgia.
got out in Dallas. When I left the
when you
army,
left
it was
Army,
I got out at Fort Hood.
Oh, got it.
So
Fort Hood, yep.
yeah, so I
Makes
came
sense.
to Dallas. Yeah,
Yep.
and I became a police officer. And it wasn't the best because it was tough. I was 30 years old, and pretty much half the other class, were 21.
Oh yeah, they were youngins.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you were
Yeah, but it was good. So how did I come about being the homeless liaison? Strictly by accident.
Okay.
Literally, it was by accident.
Yeah.
I'm driving on patrol, and a lady in a City of Garland uniform, she was from code compliance. She waves me down. She said, "I need some help. Could you help me go into this creek? I have to make contact with some homeless people." And I was like, "No."
Was this Deidre?
Yeah. I said, "What does
Cool.
homelessness have to do with the police? Homelessness is not an offense." She goes, "Yeah, but I need to contact them, and we can't go in there." Yeah. And I said, "Are you kidding me?" I mean, her and I are having this conversation. I'm like, "No, I don't need to go there." Anyway, I succumbed, I guess. And I literally went into a creek. And it blew my mind. I could not believe that human beings were living in that condition. I'd never seen it before in my life. I'd seen people who I believe have been homeless, panhandling or whatever.
Yeah.
But I never saw
Where they lived.
And it blew my mind. I
Yeah.
couldn't believe it.
In New York, I mean, I did some work out there. I realized in New York, it's a little different than everywhere else. Those people are sleeping in places that are a little bit more public. In places that are in Garland, people try to get out of the public eye.
But two, a little bit in the public and a little bit out of the public, right?
Okay.
Because we have a lot of greenery. We have a lot of wooded
Yeah,
areas.
Okay.
So we're finding people that identify as homeless literally everywhere. Parks, under bridges.
I mean, last Wednesday, we went
we went into
the park, the woods,
Well,
the corner.
when we went up North Garland.
Yeah.
So everywhere, private property, city property, everything.
But you're right. When we went to the one shopping center, we met that gentleman on the side.
Yep.
But when you look behind it, there was like two places
Yeah.
that were really long, and there was a sleeping bag in there. You could tell somebody sleeps there at night.
Yeah. So, ever since then, and that was in 2009 when I actually was the very first time that I actually went to a homeless encampment.
Wow.
And
2009.
2009.
So in Garland, why is there an issue of homelessness? Seems like it's just a normal, city. It's got 300,000 people. Don't think you'd have any issue there.
Well, I mean, you have to understand when you say homeless, it's almost like a H word, right?
Yeah.
I mean, no matter where you go,
Yeah.
you're gonna come in contact with people who are homeless. Homeless doesn't mean jobless.
Okay.
Homeless doesn't mean anything other than they don't have a place to live, a permanent place to
Wow.
live. So I wouldn't say Garland has an issue.
Okay.
We all have a situation.
Yeah.
Every city has people that are homeless, seen or unseen.
Okay.
What we do, and I think Charlie can attest to this, we go looking for people, not
Okay.
just the obvious ones. We don't assume that someone who's standing on the corner asking for money is homeless. They may have a job, but we go and we look for people who we believe probably are homeless.
Try to find them in their living room.
And we meet them right where they are. I don't care if you're underneath the bridge, in the culvert, in the woods, it doesn't matter. We meet
Okay.
you where you are, and we address ourselves by our first name. Our uniform is different than the regular uniform that the other officers wear patrol. So it's what we call a soft uniform. And then I introduce
So
myself
does
as
it
Wendy.
feel fuzzy or something?
It's just soft.
It's just soft.
It's snuggly. Yeah, it's soft.
Whatever.
But so, and that's how we introduce ourselves. Hey, I'm Wendy. You doing okay? Do you mind if I ask you what your name is?
Yeah. Yeah.
And can I call you by that name?
Yeah.
I mean, years ago, I met a gentleman, asked him what his name was, and he told me his name. So while I was having a conversation with him, I called his name, and he said, "Say it again." And I was like, "Say what again?" He said, "Say my name again." And I said his name, and he said, "That's the first time someone has called my name in 5 years."
Oh my
Oh
God.
my
Okay,
gosh.
who thinks of that? We take that for granted. I mean, what do
Right.
we call you? Charles, Charlie,
Charlie.
Fred, whatever.
Yeah.
But to a
Charlie
person
Chuck.
who's never heard their name called in years, That's some empowerment.
Well, that's why we do the name game. We stress on the bus
Yeah.
to volunteers.
Yeah.
Listen for their names. So we do icebreakers and
Yeah. And
Didn't-
well, my reality is, but for the grace of God, there go I.
no doubt.
yeah, really.
I could end it up in the woods.
Yeah.
I mean, with stuff.
Which
You
one of us
too.
couldn't? Yeah, all of us could.
All of us could have.
Yeah, when my mom left, I could have.
Yeah.
I could have. I
That
mean,
name thing is pretty cool.
it is.
Didn't Beyonce say my name, say my name?
Poor thing.
I've never listened.
That's
never,
a great
Beyonce.
song.
Oh, you can look at King of the Hill, but you can't.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
I
you-
haven't looked at King
That's
of
right.
the
Don't
Hill.
you?
I only watched Little
Nice.
House on the
I
Prairie.
don't even know if it was
Oh.
Beyonce, but it was like.
It is Beyonce.
Oh yeah, see, I'm good at that.
Yeah.
You
No,
got music on your mind.
I just like music.
I know.
And
music
it
is good.
correlates to names. Like say
It
my
does.
name, say my name.
Yeah, I
So-
think it's a different content.
You're right.
Yeah.
It is.
Let me ask you something. So you were at Garland all that time, and then in 2009, you started engaging with the homeless. You meet
Yes, sir.
Deidre, and you start doing that more, or did you just start helping her, or did
Yeah.
How did this roll up to? And that's the first question.
Uh-huh.
Second question I would say is, I love the way the City of Garland and the police department help the homeless.
Mhm.
I think you have a heart. You understand the law and all that. I admire it. How much has Garland changed their approach to the homeless from 2009, the first day you walked into an encampment, to now? So two questions.
Two questions. Two really good questions. First part, God has a sense of humor. I had never seen Deidre before, and it seemed that from that day, her and I kept bumping into each other literally, if not 3-4 times a week, every day.
That's awesome.
Every day,
Yeah.
she would just pop out, and I'm like, what are you stalking me? I mean, what are you doing? Or I would see her and drive and say, hey, do you need some help again?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I
so
was just
cool.
about to call the police and see if. So we just so happened to meet each other literally every week, and then I realized we were building a relationship with the people that were homeless.
Yeah.
And so whenever I was on patrol, so whenever I had some spare time, I would go look for them and say, "Hey, you guys still doing okay?"
So you just start doing it on
I
your
just
own on
started
the
doing it on my
clock.
own.
Yeah.
Then I became a detective, which means I'm inside with with regular clothes, and so I would change my uniform and go into my uniform. I mean, change my clothes, go into my uniform, and then contact people. So I kept doing it on my own, and then finally, it was a for lack of a better word, a freak of nature. The city was going to give certain positions to the fire department, and at the last minute, they didn't give it to the fire department. They gave it to the police department, and the city manager said one of those positions must be a homeless person. So I had to apply for it, get an interview, and then we officially got the homeless task force. We officially got.
And what
the
year was
homeless
that?
liaison. 2018.
2018. So that's
2018.
9
Yeah,
years.
2018.
9 years later.
Yeah, 2018.
So you and Deidre were just hustling.
Yeah.
One
And
of
then-
the things that she did that I'd like you to talk about is she started keeping her own database on
Yeah.
Yeah.
the people she met.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I realized that again, the name was important, so I had to document names, and then I realized that a lot of people who identified as homeless took ownership of where they were. So if I met someone at Broadway in 30, 9 times out of 10, the next time I met them wouldn't be at I-90 and Garland Avenue; it'll be in that area.
Yeah.
All right.
So a lot of the follow-up I wanted to do, I'm old,
Yeah.
So it was easy. I thought to myself, well, instead of writing everything down, just put it on a spreadsheet. So I would put the date that I met them, their names, any nickname, Monkey, Hulu, whatever,
Yeah.
where I met them, and then I would put some notes so that I can look and remember what it is that I needed to remember about this particular person. Not only that, a lot of the people that we contacted had family members, and so a family member would call or email me and say, hey, I'm looking for John, and give a description, and I go, what do you want me to look for John? Do you want me to tell John that you're looking for him? So now I built a relationship with the
Did you find people?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you
it's-
for
Yes.
real?
My right hand of God. Yeah.
Did you find missing people?
Yes.
Like these
Yes.
people are like literally missing.
Like
Nobody
Mr.
knows where they're at.
Yeah. Mr. Coleman, Donnie Coleman. Yeah. We found him. Yeah.
Wow.
Old Donald.
Yeah. His
I love
family was
that
looking
dude.
for him. They put like a big old, what we call like a bolo out. Yeah.
Hold on. A bolo.
Be on the lookout.
Oh, be on the lookout. Oh,
You know
oh,
what?
this is awesome.
He's too much. He's too much.
No,
Way too much.
This is
No.
no, it's really cool because we're getting to know all that language behind the scenes about what police officers say.
Yeah.
Bolo,
Yeah. Bolo.
Be
Not
on-
Jolo.
I think I've been boloed a couple of times in my life.
hey, be on the lookout for this big, tall, goofy dude with
Yeah,
glasses.
I wondered why.
Oh, that's
Round
Charlie.
Yeah, that person was going, hey, there's Charlie. Bolo.
Bolo.
So yeah, we literally did find people. We still find people.
So hold on. Was that dude? This is important.
Uh-huh.
Was that dude's family in Garland?
Yes.
So this guy's family's in Garland looking for
For him.
someone.
Because they had to
He's
see
in
him.
Garland.
And he's in Garland.
And did he walk away on purpose, trying not, or was he silver? Or was he not?
He just-
homeless person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just
He didn't want to deal with family no more.
Yeah.
He's done. But for his reasoning, could be all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah.
And I've seen this happen where they feel like they're not a part of the family anymore, but the family's looking for them.
yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Tell me about how that happened. Like, what happened?
Well, we told him, literally said, "Wait a minute, are you so and so?" Yeah. Your family's looking for you. Do you want to contact them, or do you mind if I contact them and tell them that you're okay?
Yeah.
And we've been lucky in that I would say pretty much 99% of the people that we found for their families, either they have contacted their families or they've allowed us to contact the family. Now, some of them don't want you to tell their family where they are,
Right.
but they want you to tell them,
They're okay.
I contacted them and they're okay.
It's like I wrote down diversion.
Did they allow you to take them? Did Donnie or whatever? Did he allow you to take them back to the family?
No.
Okay, but he was just like, Yeah.
Well, but there's some, and Charlie can
We've done
attest
it
to
with
this.
you.
Yeah.
We've done it together.
Yeah,
That's
we've done it
awesome.
together. Yeah. We found
We've
people that one
Sent them
gentleman.
all over.
Yeah, Oklahoma,
California, Anaheim.
Yeah.
We've done a few this year. in
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Garland
great.
that We've reconnected with
Yeah.
family.
So
So you
yeah, keep in
started,
track. Mhm.
you do all this, and it's not 2018 yet. You're kind of already doing outreach for the police department because that's diversion. You're
Yeah.
reconnecting people back to home.
Uh-huh.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It is.
And then you
yeah.
know,
I mean, you see, my thing is there was no prototype. There was no one who'd done something like Metro Relief, Baltimore Relief. There was nothing that we had. So, I know how it feels to eat in the dark.
yeah,
I know how it feels to not have anything. The last thing I want is for you to feel that same way because I know how I felt. So anything that I can do to help you, I would do. And if I had to do it off duty, I done it off duty. I mean, no one knew because I wasn't doing it for notoriety.
yeah.
And so, we just created relationships. And so the word got out, hey, Officer Wendy. I'm like, no, you can throw the officer out of it. It's just Wendy. Just. And when you build that relationship, it spreads. And so when we met you, Metro Relief, and we've heard this before, it takes a village. I knew that what we were doing was just a drop in the bucket. In order, I would talk to people, what is it that you want? I wouldn't say, man, you're homeless. Well, if I'm
Yeah.
judgmental, I'd ask them, what is it that you want? What do you think I can do to help you?
Right.
And they would say, I need an ID, car driver's license, whatever it is. And so I realized, well, I can't get it.
Right.
Well, guess what? You can.
Yeah.
So we started reaching out to all different organizations, literally on the phone, saying, what is it that you do? If I were homeless and I came into your office today, right now, how could you help me? I'm just tearing up this stuff. Looks cheap anyway. But, I was saying, what is it that, that you can do?
So you called
help
everybody around, even
Everyone.
Metro Relief.
Everyone. Well, I kind of put Metro Relief on blast. I met one gentleman that used to work here.
Yeah.
And he was, everyone was on a round table talking. And I said, I hear you. If you really do what you say you do, come to Garland.
Yeah.
Help us.
Yeah.
And there was a little push-pull, but he came and, we was on him all the time. One time we met you, remember?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we went from there.
Question.
The hell?
Have you heard of Ernie and Joe?
Yes. Yes.
Could you maybe ask her that?
Yeah.
Or somehow bring it up because it goes along with what you're talking about.
Exactly, yeah. What city are they with?
Let's see.
Cincinnati or something? Or or it may be Baltimore. No, Baltimore is the other guy.
Houston, I think, maybe?
Yeah.
Texas. San Antonio.
San Antonio. So,
Anyway.
yeah.
Ernie and Joe.
Yeah, Ernie and Joe.
Well, hold on.
Mhm.
Were you done? Because they can edit this.
Yeah, I forgot what I was talking about.
Oh, tell us about Ernie and Joe.
Yeah, so Ernie and Joe, 2 police officers, I believe in the San Antonio area. They literally are the homeless task force, but they don't wear a uniform. They do have a vest on. And they, just like us, they're not call driven. They come to work, flexible hours just like us, and they listen to the radio. And they listen to the calls that come out of someone who is going through a crisis. So they don't just go to calls where the person is homeless. They go to a call where a person is probably suffering from a mental illness, and they've called 911, or family members have called 911, and they want some help. So Ernie and Joe, these 2 police officers, very seasoned officers, they go to that location, but they go with patrol. And they handle the situation, and they're the ones that make the determination of whether or not that person goes to jail or whether the person goes to treatment. I.e., let's say in our area, it would be like Parkland.
I have heard of those guys.
Yeah. So they've done a huge documentary on them. It's very good, very, very good to see what they do. Also, talking about Baltimore with Dan, they were because of Mr. Gray, Baltimore got a homeless task force division, and everyone goes through de-escalation classes, the whole works, and then they do the mental health classes, which is a 40-hour class. And it's literally, as police officers, we can't prescribe, or we don't say, you have autism or you're suffering from bipolar. We don't diagnose. We just have to identify and know.
First aid.
Mental first aid.
That's what we
just
do
have to
that
know-
here, and
right.
you do it. Bring this back to Garland.
Yes,
You guys go through all the training too, right?
Yeah, for us to identify that a person is going through a crisis,
Yeah.
and then know where to send them for help or where to bring the help to them. So if I had to say that Garland is a little bit different than any other city that I've heard about, is that we bring the help to our friends, to our people who identify as homeless. It makes no sense me giving you a card telling you, well, be at that place tomorrow at 9:00. You hear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number one, how many people who identify as homeless have a watch?
Did you ever doing what you did? Did you ever have bus passes and try sending them somewhere?
Yes. So,
Because that's hard too.
It's-
Hey, here's this bus pass. Now you take this bus down to Young Street.
yeah.
Just 20 miles
Yeah.
away, and then you got to take it over to Social Security.
Yeah.
And then you bring and you come back here,
Right.
and that's why when you can be mobile,
Right.
case management and what you're doing, that just helps everything go quicker.
Right. Because everything we done was through the School of Hard Knocks. Again, there was no prototype.
Yeah.
We done the atypical, oh, look, an organization is giving us bus passes. Great, we got bus passes. So I give so-and-so a bus pass, and he looks at a bus pass. Yeah, so make sure tomorrow morning you're at Young Street by 9:00. Yeah. They'll take that bus pass and sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it
Get a
works
ride.
so well with mobile case management
Yes.
for documents and
Yeah,
everything,
yeah.
that you can go and get them and actually give them service. And that's what you were doing since 2009 with
yeah.
Deidre. And then, so I asked 2 questions. The second one was, how has the city's way they do things with the homeless population changed since then? I think you guys do a great job.
Well, I think it's changed since then, simply because they actually gave us a position.
Right.
We are a
Yeah.
homeless task force, and they've given us autonomy.
Oh, that's really good.
I am a data freak, right? Everything I do,
Nerd.
that too, yeah. Checks and balances. I
Yeah.
believe that even though you trust me, I'm going to show you exactly what I'm doing every day. And so that's what we do. We continue to do. I've done it from the beginning. I'm going to continue to do everything that I do. Every person that I contact, everywhere I go, I put it down. So I'm telling you that I'll work 40 hours. I already work about 45 to 55, but
Yeah.
I'm telling you I'm working 40. And of those 40, this is exactly what I've done every day.
Yeah.
You know, and the city has allowed us to do that. The city has allowed us to go into other cities and show other cities what we've done for them to mimic it. Because if it's not broken, don't fix it. You can do it where you are.
Yeah.
You know,
You had now I know you have 3 team members. You have you and Deidre. When did Officer Keith come in the picture through this story?
well, Keith came in probably 2 months prior to me retiring.
Oh, how cool. I think
Yeah.
I knew that, but still.
Yeah, so because
He fit right in.
he did, yeah. Well, what happened? Probably a year and a half. It started just as COVID hit. So I kept telling the police department, a lot of the places where I go, it's really dangerous. You know, I'm telling you, had it not been for God's grace, you know. So, and then the other guys in patrol, they would say, Wendy, we know you're checking out, let's say 1st and 5th. Your car is there, but where are you? Well, I'm in the woods and my radio doesn't get out.
Right.
So I kept saying that I need a partner. So, you know, because of our numbers in patrol were very low, they would give us someone for like 6 months and then give us someone new. Well, it takes years for you to know what you're doing.
Sure.
And then after like the second or third person, then COVID hit. But Keith was the last person. So he was only with us for like 3 months. Well, then once everything, let's say, opened back up after COVID, I told him I'm going to retire. Okay. So Keith took my position.
Oh, that's
So I became
God is good.
yeah, all the time.
You
so
know what I mean?
I went over and became a marshal to help Keith.
Yeah.
And then after being gone over a year, about a year and 3 days, they asked me to come back. So now there's 2 of us.
You got
So
3 people working on a
me,
homeless
Keith-
task force in
Right.
Garland with 300,000 people.
Yeah.
How many people are homeless?
So good question. By the pit,
Yeah.
last year was 217. 217.
Pit count stands for point in time.
Point in
count.
time count.
Yeah.
Usually third month.
217?
Let me
Okay.
elaborate on that. So it was when it was icy cold.
It was
Yeah.
icy cold.
Right. So our count and Metro Relief helped us with
Oh,
it.
yeah.
We got about 217. We had counted an additional probably 80 or 90, but because of how we annotated it and recorded it, MDHA said they won't count it.
Okay.
So if I had to put a number to the amount of people that are homeless in Garland, I would put it over 500.
How many people did you write down on that list when you were writing? Do you remember?
You talking about? Oh,
you kept your
my
own
gosh.
spreadsheet
Oh
for
my
years.
gosh! Oh yeah.
So, I mean,
hundreds.
We're talking about
Hundreds.
point in time is just an accurate count of that one night in time, people that are outside sleeping.
Well, no, I'd go a little bit further and say it's an inaccurate
Right.
count.
Okay, it's an
inaccurate count of
So-
people that are sleeping outside and or in a shelter and or
Yeah.
in a hotel, motel,
Reason-
holiday inn.
Yeah.
Reason why that matters, motel. That's another song.
Boom, boom, boom.
Anyway, we'll go past that one for all of you that know what I'm talking about. Congratulations. For all those people, the point in time thing. Then there's the people that might have gotten a hotel that night, might have gotten on a couch that night,
Yeah.
might be sleeping somewhere where nobody can
Yeah.
find them that
Or
night,
at work.
or at work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
So it's an
Yeah.
inaccurate
It's
count.
inaccurate.
Yeah.
But what people do, and the reason why I'm just going down this path is because not everybody understands.
Mhm.
Point in time count has been created so that different cities across the United States can get funding from the government, and that's how they get it.
That's it.
And
That's
if
exactly it.
you count, the other city counts, and then
Mhm.
you're kind of judged based upon your count, and you
Yes.
get funding based.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Make sure everybody knows that.
Yeah.
And counts
Thank you.
have been happening for a
Years.
while,
Mhm.
but not everybody was getting involved
Right.
until about 5-6 years ago. I think there's a lot more people counting.
Yeah.
across
Yeah.
the
Well,
United
because before it
States.
was just on usually the police department and or something like your Good Samaritans or some of the churches, what they didn't know where to count.
Yeah, they didn't know.
If you don't
and
know,
they were scared.
yeah,
I mean, like, hey, don't go down there. It's 11 o'clock at night.
yeah, because the count usually was from
Yeah.
3 o'clock in the afternoon all
Yeah.
the way to 10 or 11 o'clock at
Yeah.
night.
I did a count in Harlem
Oh,
at 3 o'clock
wow.
in the morning.
yeah,
It was the worst. Well, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was the craziest experience.
Yeah.
I caught. I caught a sex worker, and I caught. I mean, when I say caught, I mean I caught.
oh
that.
my gosh,
And they were nervous. They thought I was a cop.
Yeah.
And I caught people diving in dumpsters.
Yeah.
Which is, it was just middle of the night.
yeah. I mean, if you don't know where people hunker down, you'll miss them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I was outside, I'd be hunkering down where nobody could see me,
Exactly.
find me.
Yeah,
They'd mistake me for something else. I mean,
Yeah.
I just wouldn't want to be
yeah, exactly.
seen.
Exactly. So I called the pit. I don't know.
The spit.
yeah,
I call the
'cause
pit
it's-
spit.
it is what it is. I mean, it's something that we have to do, so we do it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for talking about that and just the idea of what you were, hundreds of people that you were writing down,
Hundreds.
the different people that you were keeping track of, you were building relationships with just in the city of Garland is amazing to me. And the fact that you reached out to Metro Relief is how really we became friends.
Yeah.
But what did you, you found homeless people.
Mhm.
You wanted to help them. You had a heart. Then there's this other thing. Like you just said, it takes time to understand what you're really doing.
Yeah.
And then whenever you figured out what I'm really doing, what do you feel like the solution is? What is the help that helps somebody off of the street?
It's, I don't think I have an answer for that because everyone's situation is unique.
Mm.
I can give you a cookie cutter answer, which is give a person a house and then they are no longer homeless. But that,
Right.
you can take someone, from homelessness and put them in an apartment or in a home. But what about everything else? I mean, you have to
yeah.
reacclimate them back into life.
Mhm.
So what we are doing now, we have volunteers that are literally life skills trainers. So my philosophy is this: we realized we would get a person through your help, get a person an apartment, and
Okay.
2 days later we're seeing them back again on the streets,
Yeah.
and we're like, what the dickens? What happened?
Yeah.
Come to find out they're so used to being in the woods or being around other people, in the park or underneath the overpass. Now it's silence. They can't live with that.
Yeah.
So, we can feed them fish for so long. We've been feeding them fish because they've maintained and sustained. But now we have to teach them how to fish again.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know what? We need some help.
Advocates, helpers.
We need advocates,
Yeah.
true advocates
Yeah.
that can say, okay, I'm going to teach you in a respectful manner now. I'm not demeaning you, but I'm going to teach you how to fish again, how to shop, how to buy clothes, how to pay an electric bill, how to
good.
wash clothes, how to get on a bus, how to get on a train, how to fill out a resume, how to go and get a haircut. Things that we take for granted. This is going to sound crazy. How to count money.
Mm. Yeah. I
You know
got
what I
this
mean?
much. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Kind of like the
it
gap.
doesn't stop. Yeah.
Yeah,
We
you
have
know-
to mind the gap.
Yeah, like there's
Yeah.
people that are going
They
to
don't
come.
say that here.
Yeah.
It's only in London.
I know. Oh, it's okay.
So, they get a case manager. Our friends get a case manager after they get maybe an apartment. And there's that case manager doing kind of like the mechanical stuff,
Right.
some important things. But what the people you're getting, these advocates, they're going to try to fill that gap like a bridge.
Yeah.
So that they aren't alone right away and they've got somebody to reach out to. They can teach them, take them to get clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
it's
we
a
had-
wonderful thing
yeah.
to do.
We had one young man got apartment, was in there 5 days. The apartment complex called and said, come and get him. He's in there. It's a 2-bedroom. He's sleeping it's furnished. He's sleeping in one room on the floor and uses the restroom in the other room. Never once used the restroom. Didn't use the
he
toilet.
went into the other bedroom.
He went into the other bedroom in a corner and used the restroom. Never changed his clothes, didn't do anything because he was so used to that type of life.
Mm.
And
Ooh,
so,
that's
yeah, yeah,
sad and rough.
very, very, very.
Yeah.
You know, and when we went through the door, it smelled just like it.
you would think it would.
Yeah, like you would think it would.
Mm-hmm.
I was
You
at
know?
I was in I don't want to say her, a friend of mine, and she's 70, and we got her into an apartment, and we got some pictures. It's
Mhm.
cute. It's a nice place, considering where she was. But I went to visit her last week, and I smelled something. The apartment was clean, and I went into the little utility closet, pantry closet, and she was stacking her trash in the closet.
Yeah.
And it was about 20 inches tall, and it was like a mound. And I just said to her, I said, do you have trash bags? Because the can was sitting right there.
Yeah.
Cigarette butts and everything. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't say anything to her.
Yeah.
But it showed me how I need to go by and check on her.
Right.
She said, well, she didn't say anything. So I
Yeah.
just cleaned it up, took all of her trash out, and I got a picture of I had Melissa's car, but it filled the back of the car.
What
Yeah.
filled the back of the trash?
The trash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 2 big industrial sized bags and a box
Yeah.
that was still it was in her apartment.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it filled the back of the
Yeah.
car. And it was normal to her.
Yeah.
And she
Because-
hasn't done her laundry. She's been there 3 weeks. And she just did her laundry.
Mhm.
But she had makeup on for the first time in a month. So and the case manager's going to see her.
Yeah.
So the case
Yeah.
manager can't do all that. They
No.
have a big caseload.
Yeah.
It's,
So we figured if we find someone who's willing to help
yeah.
that person and any other person who's willing to accept the help,
Yeah,
then we can help them not come back.
that's awesome.
So this for you and your friends in Garland, it's like a beta test. Moses, Moses and them work with these 2 young ones.
Yeah.
And then they'll have another.
Yeah.
And then he's excited to get more.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
That
I
is
think it's
cool.
all
Yeah,
awesome.
that's what it's all about. One person can't do it. You reach out. There's enough people around here, around Garland, that will want to help. You give them a specific thing that they can do, that they want to do, and they'll do it. Well, if everyone does their part, it's like a puzzle. A puzzle isn't one piece.
Yeah.
It's 1,000 pieces. Well, if everyone does their part and you put the puzzle together, it's what's on the cover of the box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you keep doing it? Why do you keep going back? Why'd you retire and come back? This has got to
Because-
draw. This is crazy.
What's crazy? What's crazy
Homeless
about
people
it?
smell.
Yeah.
They can be mean.
Yeah.
Yep.
They can be frustrating.
Yeah.
They don't.
That's me on any given day. I
It's
smell
like,
something.
well, I know, but it like sometimes their ears don't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like why you keep going back?
God said go back, so I'm going back. Until
Okay.
He says
It's awesome.
don't go back, I won't go back.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
fair enough. Fair enough.
Ain't that what's his name done?
that's why we all do it.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
It's funny that you asked that, but I've never questioned that. I've never asked that.
Yeah,
That was a good one. I never asked that.
you never asked yourself why you keep doing it.
Mm-mm.
You're driven. If you didn't know it, you're driven. I see it. It's
Yeah.
like written all over you. You were driven to give back.
You have to. I have to.
You were driven to when you were.
America saved my mom.
Yeah,
so, I
so
have
you
to.
gave back through the army. You
Mhm.
kept going, even though you probably wanted to quit a couple times.
Oh,
maybe.
many.
Yeah, and then you did the police thing, and then you
Mhm.
started caring about a group of people that nobody else was paying attention to,
Yeah.
and you're driven to continue to help homeless people. Is kind of blows me away. Most people, well, at least when I was growing up, they were. It was like our goal was to work a certain amount of years and then
Mhm.
retire. It's
Yeah.
like you done retired twice.
Yeah.
Retired from the army, retired from the police department. Now you're back working. So
It's okay.
thank you for your
Yeah.
service.
Yeah, Wendy.
Oh, that's
big
the least
deal.
I can do.
Thank you for
Thank
helping
you.
us.
Oh, yeah.
Be a co-host on this podcast. You guys are gonna love getting to know Wendy. She's great. Not just her accent, but just who she is. It'll
It's
be
fake.
fun.
That's right.
I'm
It's a
ready from
fake
Baltimore.
accent.
Baltimore.
I'm ready from
She from Baltimore. I can't say it as good as you can. But it's a joy to hear you and to hear about some
And to
of the
work with you.
stories and to work with
Oh, it's a joy to work with you guys. Thank you for caring. Thank
Yeah.
you for
Yeah.
doing what you do.
you. Peace out,
Peace
everybody.
out.
Thank you.
Like what you heard? Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Our team will respond to any questions you have. This podcast depends on support from its viewers, and if you want to get directly involved, join Metro Relief as a donor or volunteer at metrorelief.org.